Katie, and I want to tell you something about myself. I have lots of flaws, and I'm not afraid to tell them to the world. Want to find out what they are? Click on the arrows and discover my deepest, darkest secrets. I have a strange mutant hair on my knee. It grows fast and thick, and as soon as I notice it poking through the surface of my skin, I pluck it off. Once, in the winter when I was wearing pants, unable to observe it on a moment-by-moment basis, I noticed that it had grown 2 whole inches. I actually saved the hair and put it in my memory box for safekeeping. I truly believe that if left to its own devices, this strange hair would take over the world. I'm planning on experimenting with this one day. You think I have flaws on the outside. I also have a few flaws on the inside. I have been told that I can be judgmental, impatient, lazy, harsh, opinionated, righteous, but I'm working on them. I guess you could say that I'm a work in progress. I have never been a flexible person. After 4 years of gymnastics, I couldn't even touch my toes. While every other girl could just drop into the splits, no matter how hard I tried, I was still 1.5 miles from the floor. Around the same time I took gymnastics, I was begging my parents for a puppy, and they finally gave in. Only if you promise to walk her every day and you take her to dog obedience school so she doesn't destroy all of our shoes, like our last dog. Lucky for me, dog obedience school conflicted with gymnastics, so every week, instead of trying to force my body to do unnatural acts of flexion, I walked and trotted in a parade of dogs. I have a big mole on top of my head. I don't notice it. It's not exactly easy to see the top of your head, but occasionally other people see it. Once when I was babysitting, the kids noticed it and said, "Ew, gross, what's that?" So I told them that it was my microchip and that it gives me special powers. Now whenever I babysit them, they ask to look at my microchip. If they're really good, I let them see it, and they look on in awe. I was sledding down a very icy hill when my toboggan skidded out of control and smashed into a big tree. I rammed head first into the toboggan and split my face open from my lip to my nose. There was blood everywhere. When I got home, my distressed parents zoomed me to the hospital so I could get stitched up. I had to wear a band-aid that made me look like the only kindergarten kid on the planet who had a mustache. Today, I have a scar to show for it. Like all scars, it reminds me where I've been. I was born with hair that is neither here nor there. It's not totally straight and it's not curly. It's a little bit wavy, super fine, and when I don't brush it, even for a day, it'll become a nest of knots. When I was a kid, my mother could not figure out how to deal with it. She'd brush it in the morning, but by the time I came home from school, I'd have a massive knotted puffball in the back of my head. Now, I've finally figured out the perfect hairdo. No fuss, no muss. It's original and simple. Ever since my older brother taught me how to play heart of gold on his guitar when I was 11, I wanted to become a guitar player myself. I begged my parents for lessons, so now once a week I meet up with Lewis, my guitar teacher, who's teaching me how to fingerpick, but I feel like I'm a terrible disappointment. I'll be playing and suddenly, rip, one of my fingernails will tear off. Unfortunately, I seem to suffer from flimsy nail disorder. I've tried fake nails, but they keep flying off, and I'm afraid I might spear someone. It's alright though, because now I'm pretty good at getting a regular old guitar pick to work for me. As far as I'm concerned, there are two kinds of people in this world. Those who have had their hearts broken, and those who have not. I am not ashamed to say that my heart has been broken, more than once, and even by someone who had no idea that he broke my heart. As much as the heartache left me feeling like a hollow husk of a human being, lots of good eventually came of it. Thanks to my bruised, broken, and bashed around heart, I have loads of material to inspire poetry and music. When I was a kid, I had a nose like everyone else's. It wasn't particularly extraordinary. But as I grew, it grew when one day my best friend Justine turned to me and said, "Hey, when did you get such a big nose?" Like I just went out that day and bought a new one. I realized I had two choices here: be embarrassed for my big nose, or embrace it as my most prominent feature. I have chosen the latter. I have two different sized breasts. One is an A cup and the other is fully a B. I googled the problem and found out that I can either get a boob job on one side or a reduction on the other to even them out. Thanks, but no thanks. But Google told me something else, that it's really common to have asymmetrical breasts and they usually even themselves out. Now I just get a bra that fits the larger breast and stuff the other side, but only if I'm wearing a tight top. The rest of the time you wouldn't notice it unless you stare at my chest for like 10 minutes, and if you do that, well, what's wrong with you? So what I'm trying to say is that all of these flaws make me the unique, one-of-a-kind, never-to-be-replicated person who I am. I embrace my flaws. They are what makes me, me.